The only problem is, when you have that much information, you have to find the good stuff. And that can be incredibly difficult when you're dealing with those volumes. And nowhere was this brought home more than during Hurricane Sandy. So what you had in Hurricane Sandy was a superstorm, the likes of which we hadn't seen for a long time, hitting the iPhone capital of the universe. And you got volumes of media like we'd never seen before. And that meant that journalists had to deal with fakes. So we had to deal with old photos that were being reposted. We had to deal with composite images that were merging photos from previous storms. We had to deal with images from films like The Day After Tomorrow. And we had to deal with images that were so realistic, it was nearly difficult to tell if they were real at all. But joking aside, there was images like this one from Instagram, which was subjected to a grilling by journalists. They weren't really sure. It was filtered from Instagram. The lighting was questioned. Everything was questioned about it. It turned out to be true. It was from Avenue C in downtown Manhattan, which is flooded. And the reason that they could tell that it was real was because they could get to the source. And in this case, these guys were New York food bloggers. They were well-respected. They were known. So this one wasn't a debunk. It was actually something they could prove. And that was the job of the journalist. It was filtering all this stuff. And you were, instead of going and finding the information and bringing it back to the reader, you were holding back the stuff that was potentially damaging. And finding the source becomes more and more important, and finding the good source. Twitter is where most journalists now go. It's like the de facto real-time newswire, if you know how to use it, because there is so much on Twitter. Sometimes you come across a piece of content that is so compelling, you want to use it, you're dying to use it, but you're not 100% sure if you can, because you don't know if the source is credible, you don't know if it's a scrape, you don't know if it's a re-upload, and you have to do that investigative work. And this video, which I'm going to let run through, was one we discovered a couple of weeks ago.
Getting real windy in just a second.
Okay, so now if you're a news producer, this is something you love to run with, because obviously this is gold. You know, this is a fantastic reaction from someone, very genuine video that they've shot in their back garden. But how do you find if this person, if it's true, if it's faked, or if it's something that's old and it's been reposted? So we set about going to work on this video, and the only thing that we had to go on was the username on the YouTube account. There was only one video posted to that account, and the username was Rita Krill. And we didn't know if Rita existed or if it was a fake name. But we started looking, and we used free internet tools to do so. The first one was called Spokeo, which allowed us to look for Rita Krills. So we looked all over the US. We found them in New York. We found them in Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Florida. So we went and we looked for a second free internet tool called Wolfram Alpha. And we checked the weather reports for the day which this video had been uploaded. And when we went through all those various cities, we found that in Florida, there was thunderstorms and rain on the day. So we went to the white pages, and we found, we looked through the Rita Krills in the phone book, and we looked through a couple of different addresses. And that took us to Google Maps, where we found a house. And we found a house with a swimming pool that looked remarkably like Rita's. So we went back to the video, and we had to look for clues that we could cross-reference. So if you look in the video, there's the big umbrella, there's a white lilo in the pool, there are some unusually rounded edges in the swimming pool, and there's two trees in the background. And we went back to Google Maps, and we looked a little bit closer, and sure enough, there's the white lilo. There are the two trees. There's the umbrella. It's actually folded in this photo, a little bit of trickery, and there are the rounded edges on the swimming pool. So we were able to call Rita, clear the video, make sure that it had been shot, and then our clients were delighted because they were able to run it without being worried.